Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. Hope you guys didn't miss me too much. I had a few busy days at work and stuff, so I'm back now. So anyway, this article came up a few days ago, and it's about a Labour MP in the UK called Richard Burgon. And he's at the moment being slaughtered. He's been slaughtered by the press. He's been slaughtered by Twitter, by people. He's been slaughtered on Reddit. He's been slaughtered by his own constituency members in Parliament, by Labour MPs, by Conservatives. In Twitter, he's been absolutely destroyed by people. So what was his crime? All he did was defend China a bit in a talk show, and he refused to condemn any genocide because there's no evidence and things like that. And just because he spoke his own mind and he's got a bit of intelligence, anyone with a bit of a brain would tell you that looking at satellite images does not mean all these Uyghurs are being held in concentration camps, or or there's a genocide going on. It's absolutely ridiculous, guys, and I can't believe people in UK are this stupid. Seriously, they are this stupid, and we're just surrounded by stupidness. There's no hope left for this country at all, guys. So just want to show you some of these articles, and I'll show you the video. You can see Starmer should remove the whip from Richard Burgon. This was after the interview. When asked if Communist China had committed genocide against its people, the Labour MP refused to condemn the CCP. Instead, he jumped to their defence. You can see Reddit. Richard Burgon can't make himself condemn China human rights violation on LBC tonight. Is this guy for real? Stop defending China. Labour MP blasted for repeatedly refusing to condemn Beijing. Watch Richard Burgon's strange defence of China. Labour MP refuses to condemn human rights abuses in China. And as you can see, there's no one positive article about China. Everything is negative. Just because he came to the defence of China, everything is negative. Absolutely, the whole bloody UK is against him. I feel sorry for this guy, and it's probably worse in America. You speak up and try and defend in China, and in America, you'd probably be put in prison for patriotic or something like that, and it's probably much worse in America, guys. But as you can see, there's no free speech, or you can't speak your mind. You can't say anything good about China in UK. You try and speak your mind, you try and give some facts and knowledge, and you try and say something good, you get absolutely slaughtered, guys. And this is the stupidity that we're living in. So I'm going to show you the video, and I'll let you guys decide for yourselves. So this guy on the right is an MP who's on this China sanctions list. So he got sanctioned by China for speaking out against China about human rights and stuff. But this guy is a staunch supporter of Israel. Whenever Israel was causing actual genocide in Israel, he was supporting Israel, and things like he was calling the anti-Israeli protest in London, is calling it anti-Semitism. So this guy, when it comes to human rights, it's only about China, and he doesn't look at other countries. Like America's been causing all sorts of human rights, killing so many Muslims, bombing them, Guantanamo Bay. He's not going to say anything about that. He's not going to say anything about Israel. He's not going to say anything about Saudi Arabia, where Saudi Arabians chopped up that reporter. Any other problems around the world, it's not going to mention. It's just going to mention China. Suddenly he cares about Uyghur Muslims. The idiot. He's never even been to Xinjiang. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to show you this video, guys, and I'll give you my opinions. And this guy's the host, and he's a bit stupid, and this woman is a bit of an airhead. So when she talks, it's absolutely dumb as well. So let's listen to this.
List of China.
Why is that? What have you done?
So I dared to be one of 5 MPs who got sanctioned for basically calling out China on human rights abuses or against the Uyghurs. In my case, going back many years, I chair the Tibet All Party group. I've always stood up for the Tibetan people, 1 million of whom have died at the hands of the Chinese since the invasion. And because I was doing my job as an MP, calling out human rights abuses in Parliament, where we treasure free speech, then I'm
So this guy's saying that millions of people were killed by the Chinese in Tibet. That's a load of bullshit. That's the biggest bullshit I've ever heard in my whole life. Seriously, where's the evidence? Seriously, where is the evidence? This guy's talking out of his ass.
Sanctions, so I can't, and my immediate family can't go to China. All my assets in China have been frozen. I haven't got any. It doesn't really make a difference. I can't do any business in China. And I have to say that has been a recruiting sergeant for people around the world now waking up to the existential threat. Absolutely right, Sophia, that China now poses. China is the most dangerous country in the world on so many fronts. And thank goodness.
Okay, so he's saying that China is the most dangerous country in the world in so many fronts. Is this guy an idiot or something? Hasn't he not lived in the times of terrorism and, all of these terrorists blowing up people all over the world? Isn't that the biggest danger, terrorism? So this guy's so stupid. So stupid.
Goodness, we woke up to the Huawei contract. So we had to put pressure on the government to say, look, should we really be inviting in China into one of our most sensitive infrastructure projects?
Well, that ship sailed a long time ago. They're involved in our nuclear industry. They're involved in our water infrastructure.
And so they have tentacles all over the place, be it in businesses, be it in infrastructure projects, be it in Confucius institutes on our campuses. The fact that they bring in huge amounts of revenue for Chinese students. It's the largest non-EU group of students. Some universities rely for up to 30% of their revenue from Chinese students.
Okay, let's put it this way, guys. Let's stop all these Chinese students coming to UK. So let's not give any revenue to any of these universities in UK, right? And let's see how they cope. All of these universities will shut down in a week. These revenues from Chinese students is what keeps them alive, what makes them profits. This guy is such an idiot. And let's stop all investments coming in from China, shall we? So China's going to be the most powerful country in the world in 5 to 10 years. So what are you going to do then? You want to stop all investments coming in from China. You want to stop all money coming in from China, all the help that China can give you on infrastructure projects and everything. You want to stop everything. Are you bloody stupid, guys? I mean, look at the state of UK after Brexit. Just look at it. It's a bloody shambles, absolute shambles. And you want to stop money coming in from China, the second largest economy, soon to be the largest economy in the world. Are you bloody dumb or something? You guys in UK, man, seriously, need to wake up.
That is really unhealthy. The fact that they've taken control of assets in Africa because of loans they've given them, which are completely unsustainable. They've cornered the market in lithium, rare earth metals that are essential for electric-powered cars. They are really smart people, and we have urgently got to wake up to the fact. And it's not just stuff, and we've got to wean ourselves off on reliance on cheap products from China, whether or not they're produced by slave labour Uyghurs, as many of them will be. But it's also the information age as well. They have eyes all over the place. They are dumping data out of our systems from around the world back into Beijing, and too many people are just unaware of it. And we've got to wake up. There's some really interesting legislation being passed in America at the moment. So it's calling for full transparency of information about Chinese company listed on their markets, and if they don't do it within the next 18 months, 250 companies will be delisted from the American Stock Exchange. They have got tentacles everywhere, and we've got to stand up to it.
I'm reading a book at the moment called Freedom, How We Lose It and How We Fight Back by Nathan Law. He was the young guy who led the protests in Hong Kong, who's had to flee to this country.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the programme tomorrow from 8 o'clock for an hour. We're going to talk about what he says in this book. I'm only a third of the way through it, but it is horrific, some of the things that he's saying. We're going to be taking calls as well, so if you've got a particular interest in China and Hong Kong, make sure you listen and make sure you call in tomorrow after 8. Richard Burgon, it's one of those things where
so you can see how anti-Chinese this program is. They're giving all of these Hong Kongers time and effort, and this Hong Konger, whatever he's writing in the book, he's not going to write anything good about China, is he, if he's flee to UK? And what about all of these Hong Kongers that were beating up people in the streets and, causing all sorts of violence? These were Hong Kong, protesters. And who started it? Who was involved in that? you know, again, it's all anti-China crap. You just don't want to hear any of it. So let's continue.
Those policies where it's not really a party political thing, isn't it? It's something where there ought to be unity on both sides of the house on how we deal with the threats that are coming from China.
Well, first of all, and I'm sure that Tim didn't mean it in this way, but I think things can be said which accidentally have a damaging impact. When he was saying that, China has tentacles all over, 30% of students on campuses and the rest of it, I think we've got to be very careful that where our government has disagreements with the government of China, that this doesn't end up fueling anti-Chinese racism in our society. People,
that's not what it's about.
But people,
and that's the Chinese government. That's what they'd like you to believe. This is not about being anti-China. This is not an argument with China. It's an argument with the Chinese Communist Party government.
I'm saying...
Don't fall into their trap, Richard. That's their narrative.
There is an increased instance of racism faced by Chinese people in Britain. For example...
Exactly. There's so much anti-racism stuff happening in the UK. Every single day I'm hearing stories about Chinese people getting beaten up. Even Hong Kongers getting beaten up. Any Asian is getting beaten up, getting abused. Calling them names. And this is the guy because of it. I mean, people like him, people like the media, they're the ones that are causing it. And, people are just stupid sheep around here, and they're just following what these politicians are saying.
In relation to COVID, and we've got to guard against that. But what I'd say more widely, is, look, there's things that the government of the United States has done historically, which we profoundly disagree with. Invading other countries, using a nuclear bomb,
not committing genocide against millions of their own people, not responsible for the deaths of 1 million Chinese citizens who happen to be Tibetan.
This guy's an idiot. How many people have died from the nuclear bombs in Hiroshima? How many innocent people have died? America dropped these bombs to innocent people, and the ones that are lived, they've had radiation poisonings, and all these kids that are growing up today, they've still suffering the effects of all the radiation. What about the nuclear bombs they tested around the Marshall Islands? People are still dying of cancer, and all these kids are growing up with defects and being mutants. And what about Guantanamo Bay and, killing so many innocent Muslims, bombing them, in Syria, in Afghanistan? Even when they left Afghanistan, they killed all these kids in a stupid drone bomb, and they killed so many innocent people. This guy is living in another world.
We need a different scale. Let's not try and call them in the same terms as America.
I was referring to the only use of a nuclear weapon in war against civilian populations, and the invasion
in peacetime. The Chinese
and the invasion of Iraq, Afghanistan. So
I don't really agree just to draw comparisons between the United States and China.
This woman is really annoying.
The point I want to make, however,
everything you've said, you could say in the States, you couldn't say in China. Anything I've said.
The point I want to make.
That's stupid, guys. You say if this guy Richard Burgon said what he is saying today in the States, he would be arrested and he would be put in prison for being anti-patriotic. You have no freedom of speech in America, none whatsoever. You go to an airport and you shout out bomb, you would get arrested and put into Guantanamo Bay prison for the rest of your life. Seriously, you can't say whatever you want in America as well. This guy's an idiot.
Is that, of course, we need our government to speak up for human rights around the world. Of course, we need our government to speak, including to its allies, like Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, about the human rights abuses there. But I think we need to avoid a rush into a new Cold War, because Cold Wars can become proxy wars, hot wars. That's not in the interest of anybody. And of course, our government will have disagreements with the government of China. But when it comes to climate change, for example, we do need to be working with China in relation to averting climate catastrophe. And you look, for example, at the huge refugee crises that are going to be caused because of climate catastrophe. There's going to be a need for more international cooperation when it comes to climate change, when it comes to the flow of refugees, and a whole host of other issues, diminishing resources. And that means working with governments in other countries who we have profound disagreements with on other issues.
In your answer there, I haven't heard one single condemnation of anything the Chinese government has done.
Including on the environment. 29% of greenhouse gases are produced by China, way and above any other nation. The last 11 years, they burnt more coal than the whole of the rest of the world.
Hang on a second. He said the last 11 years. What about the last 100 years, 200 years that UK has been burning the coal when UK was at its heyday? UK is the one that started all of this coal burning business 200 years ago when they were a superpower. What about the history of all the coal usage of the UK? Is he going to look at that? He's such an idiot. Now he's going to blame China because now they're the highest. And they're the highest because of one reason, because UK, America outsource all of their goods, so everything gets made cheap in China. That, if they want to make everything in UK, let them. Inflation's going to shoot through the roof. This guy is such an idiot. And per person wise, America and UK is still highest in terms of pollution per capita. So this guy doesn't know anything what he's on about. That's why we have such stupid people in the Parliament, MPs talking this kind of crap. Why can't we have intelligent people in Parliament who's basically got a brain, who can think?
Put together, they are going the wrong way on climate change. We need to call them out, not say, we need to sit down and be nice to them. We need to make sure we're not buying goods from them that have been produced in environmentally unfriendly ways or by slave labor. So call them out.
Action is
not
needed.
Our allies in America and elsewhere.
Action is needed from China and from the United States and from the UK on climate change. However, there is a line which is incorrect, that somehow people believe that per head of the population in China, their carbon footprint is greater than ours. That's not true. The average person in China has a smaller...
Stop defending
I'm
China.
not...
Look at that. Because he can't answer that question, because he's stating facts and he can't respond to him. He's saying stop defending China. What an idiot. He can't take the truth, so that's his answer. Stop defending China. And that's what stupid people do when they can't defend themselves. When you corner them with real facts, real issues. And it's not an issue with China with climate change. The climate change issue is something the whole world needs to do. The West has so far, failed in its responsibility to help developing countries moving away from coal. It's almost like saying, for example, if you get a massive pizza and that's got like 20 slices and you eat 10 slices, then your friends come in and you got 10 friends, say example, and you got 10 slices left, and you say to your 10 friends, okay, forget that I've eaten the 10 slices, let's share the rest, yeah, let's all have one each. It's just unfair, it's just stupid, it's just no common sense. If you've been polluting the whole world for 100, 200 years, you have a responsibility to help the developing countries to move away from coal, give them some money, move to renewables. It's absolutely ridiculous that you think that Britain and the West had nothing to do with climate change. It's absolutely stupid blaming China and blaming India. So let's continue.
We need to have a sensible discussion about these things. China is a superpower. Of course, there'll be things on which we profoundly disagree with them. Of course, our government has to hold its allies and other countries to account on human rights abuses, and those discussions need to take place.
Do you believe they've committed genocide?
But see,
do you believe they've committed genocide?
The approach you're taking
is to ask you if you believe they committed genocide.
The approach that you're taking.
Exactly. So he said no. He's got nothing to say, and he said, "Do you believe they're doing genocide? Where's the proof that China's committing genocide? You idiot! Where is the proof? Show me the proof. What's he gonna do? Come back with satellite images? I can show a satellite images of his mum's house, and is his mum a Uyghur Muslim being put into concentration camp by her dad? Absolutely stupid, guys. Absolutely stupid."
Approach that you're taking is
it's a straight question.
You're trying to basically create a political storm. Let me speak if that's okay.
With the House let me speak. That genocide has been committed by the Chinese.
I'm saying that our government needs to hold other governments around the world, yes, including China, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, to account on human rights abuses. But we inevitably need a relationship.
Why do you find it so difficult to utter one word of condemnation about anything to do with China? I find it astonishing.
Richard, it does feel like a bit of whataboutery. We're talking about China right now, and you're talking about something that happened in 1945.
Don't give me that. This guy on the left, he's just stupid. That MP on the right, he was talking about millions of Tibetans being killed by China. When did that happen? Yesterday? That was like ages ago. So if that guy's bringing up historical facts that China supposedly had done, then why can't he bring up facts that America had done 50 years ago, or 70 years ago? So all of these guys, they're all ganging up on him. It's just not fair, guys. And it's the same. This guy's gone home. He's getting abused, on Twitter. He's getting abused by all the papers, by the parliament. You just can't say anything about China. And he's not even supporting China. All he's doing is trying to be diplomatic about it. He's not a China supporter even. He even said that there are, human rights abuses in China, which I don't agree with, but he even thinks that. But he's talking in a diplomatic way. You can't even be diplomatic. And these guys are all attacking him, all of them.
I think that seems like a real leap, and it just feels like you want to evade the question. I mean, I want to get back to the question of what we've been asked here. I think, when we did Brexit, that even the most ardent Brexiteers would have said there'll be a hit to GDP, but there's a principle at stake here, which is one of democratic sovereignty. Let's do things in relation to China, which, might make us a bit poorer. But I think that, as Tim rightly says, and in the work that he's done, the treatment of the Uyghur Muslims is something that we might look back on. We might all look back on, Richard, in 40 years and just think, how are we part of a generation where that happened? And we aren't just talking like a civil war skirmish in one corner of a country.
This guy said, we need to stand up against China, even though we might be a bit poorer. It's the right thing to do. It's all right. So let's say he's got he's got wife and kids at home, and the inflation is shooting through the roof, because that's what's happening in UK at the moment. The inflation is shooting through the roof. There's no supply chain. The economy is going down. The interest rates are going to shoot up. The cost of living is shooting up. And say this guy loses his job and he can't support his own family. Is he really going to think about Uyghurs in China? Is he going to think about all of these human rights abuses happening all over the world? Or is he going to think about his family and how he's going to feed them and how he's going to live throughout the day? This guy is living in another world. There's a lot of people living in poverty in UK. A lot. Millions living in poverty. Just because this guy's got a cushy job, he can sit around and say, oh, it doesn't matter, we need to think about the Uyghurs. It doesn't matter if we're a bit poorer because of it. He's just chatting crap. Absolutely chatting crap.
We're talking about something that involves huge numbers here. So I think it might be, and it might be true of other states that you mentioned as well, certain states in the Middle East, that we look in the mirror and say, it might make us a little bit poorer, but let's do the right thing now.
Final opportunity.
Well,
the Uyghurs, I mean, surely we can all...
This guy's not going to let it go. Come on. He's asked him like 6 times already. Can't he just let it go? What kind of host is he? He's just literally putting him under pressure, asking him the same question over and over again. This is absolutely hideous and really dumb, guys. Really dumb. Just shows the state of UK and how stupid people are in Britain.
Agree that is a genocide.
Well, United Nations inspectors, should be welcomed into China to see what's going on. The international community needs to work together against human rights abuses. But I think it's almost a babyish approach to start getting into, the United States have never done anything wrong. China.
Okay, now we've got the bimbo trying to open her mouth and trying to talk politics and pretending she knows anything about the world and China. Seriously, her response is just annoying, really annoying. She just needs to shut up.
Sophia, the reality is... Can I just say one thing?
Oh, here we go.
The conversation here, the topic of the day, if we'd had a listener call in about the United States, I would venture to guess that you would be very comfortable just talking about the United States and everything you feel about them for 5 minutes. We're meant to be talking about China, and you cannot talk about China without immediately comparing to other countries, whether that's allies or other strategic rivals.
Can you believe this shit, guys? You know, this guy is not talking about just China. He's talking about human rights. He's talking about human rights abuses. He's talking about Tibet. He's talking about Hong Kong. You know, he's talking about other countries here. And when you talk about human rights abuses, you got to get other countries involved. I mean, you can't just say China is the only country causing human rights. You got to look at the world and see what other countries are causing human rights. America's causing human rights. Israel's causing human rights. You know, and these are allies. These are allies of America. I mean, of Britain. They will never say anything about their allies. But for China, they don't mind, you know, cussing China to the max, but nothing bad about their allies America, nothing bad about Israel. Oh, we love them, but when it comes to China, oh no, this is only about China. She's just talking out of her ass again, like the rest of them.
Why is that? Because it seems to me that this decision to constantly draw parallels or bring in comparisons, some of which I think are frankly quite egregious, and some of them are fairly offensive to some of our allies.
Fairly offensive. So America dropping bombs in Hiroshima, America causing all sorts of human rights abuses in you know, in the Middle East, and all these Guantanamo Bay prisons, Abu Ghraib prisons, and when you bring that up, it's offensive. I mean, seriously, what planet is this woman from? Seriously, she just needs to shut up.
It's actually a tactic that only serves the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah.
In fact, some of that language is absolutely from their playbook. This is how they construct a moral argument about this to deflect attention away from their own crimes. So I think, you know, we need to be real here. I do not understand why it is so difficult for you to specifically bring in a position and criticism about China as a country.
There are plenty of criticisms to make about China.
Well,
Why can't you
try
make
one?
it?
Well, I can, and there are plenty of criticisms to make about lots of countries around the world. But I don't think that the Conservatives' changing position in relation to China, with respect, and Tim may be different, is related to human rights abuses.
Final opportunity to utter one criticism of China.
Well, I said there's plenty of things to criticise in China and in other societies. But, as I say, I think that the Conservatives' changing position on China is related to geopolitics. It's not related to a sudden conversion to an interest in human rights.
Exactly. That's the most intelligent thing this guy said. You know, why can't people be this intelligent in UK? It's all about geopolitics, guys. It's all about geopolitics. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you know, nobody was talking about Taiwan. Nobody was talking about Uyghur Muslims. Nobody was talking about Tibet. Nobody was talking about Hong Kong. Suddenly, they find out that China suddenly becoming a superpower is, you know, oh my God, China is a big threat, you know, big threat to, you know, in terms of geopolitics. Now, suddenly, you know, everyone caring about Taiwan. Taiwan has been an issue, you know, since 50, 100, 200, 300 years ago. You know, this was Chinese territory taken away by Japan, and then it was given back to China. Then the Kuomintang party escaped to Taiwan as part of their civil war. You know, all of this has happened 50, 100 years ago. There's a huge history. Nobody said anything. Even 5 years ago, nobody mentioned a word about Taiwan. Nothing. And since, you know, all of this geopolitics issues that's come up, everyone's now caring about Taiwan. Everybody's caring about Hong Kong. Everyone's caring about Tibet. Everyone's caring about Xinjiang. All of a sudden, what happened to 5 years ago? It's still the same. 10 years ago, it's still the same. It's nothing new. It's not like when Iraq invaded Kuwait and the world had to go to war with Iraq to liberate Kuwait. It wasn't anything like that. You know, these issues are internal issues with China that's been going around 50, 100 years ago. So these guys really don't know what they're talking about, really.
Well,
But that sounds like you're
I've tried my
It's all our
best.
fault that he
Craig
can't
says,
be
while
them.
Richard, stop talking. We are going to stop talking about this. Now, that's two subjects. Well, I could have gone on. I'm 8 minutes late for a break, which is probable sackable territory at LBC, so I better go to one now. It's at
Design.
8:53.
This is
Anyway, guys, that's the end of it now. So that's all I wanted to show you. There is a bit more, but all they do is just talk more crap about China. And this guy just tries to, put him under the corner again. He's the same old shit. You can't say anything good about China. You can't even defend them. You can't even be a neutral party. They just want you to condemn China. It's the press, it's the people, it's the politicians. It's the same in America. It's the same in Australia. It's pretty much the same in India as well. I just don't know what's wrong with people of today, guys. I don't know what's wrong with people of today. And, stupidness of UK people, it comes right from the top, guys. It comes right from the top. I mean, this is Macron calling Johnson a clown who regrets Brexit. This clown is destroying UK at the moment, destroying our economy. This guy is the one that voted for Brexit, wanted Brexit, and there's not even one benefit from Brexit UK is having. Not one. Nobody can name one benefit UK is having from Brexit. UK is losing money day by day, losing businesses, losing jobs. They're losing their GDP. There's so much. They're losing trade all around the world. There's so many issues with Brexit, and there's so many issues with UK. I can go on. I can create another channel, and I can talk all day about UK, but I'm not going to do that. And the stupidness comes right from the top, and I'm sure. This is going to be a good example, guys, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this, but I'm going to show it again to those who haven't. And when your prime minister is this stupid, it doesn't really bode well for the rest of the population, because if the rest of the population keep voting for this guy and they don't condemn this guy, then the rest of the population are just as bad as him, if I'm honest. So let's kind of listen to this guy, shall we?
Is now going to accelerate like a new Tesla, because I can tell you as a former motoring correspondent, EVs may not burble like sucking doves, and they may not have that rum rum rah rah.
I think he's like really, really drunk, or he's on drugs and stuff. And it gets worse, guys. It gets really, really worse. Listen to this.
That they move off the lights faster than a Ferrari. And so with safer streets, with great local schools, with fantastic broadband, forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me.
Can you see? Just all he says is forgive me, forgive me. He lost his notes and he's looking at his papers. He's completely lost. He looks really drunk. This guy's absolutely drunk out of his head. And when you're really drunk, or when you're under high on drugs, that's what you say. You say, oh, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Because you don't know what's going on around the world. And you keep trying to apologize to people. And it seriously has issues. Seriously has issues.
People will have the confidence to stay nearer the place they grew up, to start business, and business will have the confidence to invest. Hands up anyone who's been to Peppa Pig World.
It gets worse.
Not enough. It's fantastic. I was a bit hazy what I would find at Peppa Pig World, but I loved it. And Peppa Pig World is very much my kind of place.
Yeah, you definitely deserve to be in Peppa Pig World. Yeah, definitely your kind of place, mate. You need to live there and just leave the rest of us alone. Just go and be a prime minister in Peppa Pig World.
It has very safe streets.
So he's saying that Peppa Pig World has very safe streets. What about the rest of UK? It's not safe? It's down to you, mate. You're the reason.
Discipline in schools. Heavy emphasis on new mass transit systems, I notice, even if they're a bit stereotypical about Daddy Pig.
Daddy Pig. Can you see how stupid, our Prime Minister is? He can't have a conference. He's having all of these stupid notes that someone's written for him, keeps losing them. When you're Prime Minister, when you're a speaker, you don't need to look at notes to speak out. It needs to come from the heart. I mean, when I do these YouTube videos, I don't look at any notes, guys. I just say whatever's on my mind. Whether I make a mistake or not, that's just down to me. But I'll say whatever's on my mind, and you'll hear my opinion. And there's no notes I'm going through. There's no paperwork I'm going through. Because when you start reading notes and stuff, it's just not genuine. When you speak from the heart, when you speak to someone one-to-one in the streets, for example, do you like look at your notes when you're having a conversation with your friends, for example? You don't. It needs to come. It needs to be genuine. It needs to come from the heart. If you make a mistake, you try and correct yourself, or the other person tries to correct you, and it needs to kind of go back and forth. That's why whenever people stand up and do presentations and go through notes, they need to prepare for it. They need to prepare for it the day before, the night before, do the presentation, speak without notes, and that's it. That's how you kill it. If you're not prepared, or if you don't know what you're talking about, then you shouldn't be a speaker. You shouldn't be a leader. This is one of the things. Being a leader, you need to speak, properly. You need to speak with conviction. You need to speak with passion. If it's something you believe in. But this guy just losing his notes, saying forgive me, forgive me, forgive me, swearing at himself, talking about Peppa Pig, making stupid car noises. I can't believe this guy's still in power. I can't believe it. Not only that, guys, there's corruption issues, as well. And nobody's asking for his head. He's still in power. He's having all sorts of corruption issues. And yesterday, I read a paper that, he's been having Christmas parties during lockdown last year. As part of his Conservative Party, he was having, secret Christmas parties without any masks on, without any, while the rest of the country was on lockdown. And, there's so much corruption going on. He's causing all of these rifts between Europe and UK. There might be like a trade war going on between UK and Europe, and he's having a issue with France. People in France hate him. Seriously, this guy is ruining relationships all over the world. Even Biden hates this guy. Because of him, he duped Biden into signing this stupid AUKUS deal, and because of that, France had been really, really pissed off with America, and really pissed off with UK and Australia. They did it behind France's back, and pretty much duped France into coming up with this AUKUS thing. Seriously, absolutely ridiculous. This guy's isolating UK, and UK is just going down, guys. I mean, I live in UK. I can see every single day the issue with inflation. More and more people are going to poverty. Interest rates are going up. Every cost of living is going up. There's less and less jobs. We might go back into lockdown again with the Omicron virus as well. So many issues, guys. So many issues, and this guy's just making it worse. During these times, you need a strong leader. You need an intelligent leader, and this guy's not it. And it just comes straight from the top, guys. And it's not just him, but it's most of the stupid people that live in UK. I mean, I can't believe I'm one of the few guys who's actually, woken up from all of this, and I can see the truth, and I can see, I can see the big picture, and I can't believe a lot of these people in UK are just like sheep. They're just stupid. They can't see the big picture. They can't think for themselves. They believe everything they see and hear in the papers, and make up all of these stupid stories in their own head. I'm just sick of the human race, guys. I'm just sick of it. I just thought people in UK are a lot more intelligent than this. I'm not saying all of the people in UK, by the way. There are intelligent people in UK, and there are only a few guys, but most of them are really stupid. They just, lager louts and, hooligans. You can see from the Euro final that was in last year, and you can see the amount of damage they did, being hooligans and violence and, and racism as well. So much racism. There was a cricket guy who was called a Paki, and people were saying that it's normal. Now, how can you go around calling a cricketer Paki? They were shoving alcohol down his throat when he was 15. Even though he was a Muslim guy, this is absolutely stupid, and they were calling it normal. They're calling it banter. Seriously, there's an issue with racism here, guys. They don't give a crap about black guys. I mean, the black guys who missed the penalties in UK for the English team. There's 3 black guys, and they got so much abuse. They were calling them monkeys, bananas, all of 100,000 people on Twitter calling them racist names. 100,000. It's not a small number. And Twitter had to remove 100,000 messages of racism to those black players. And then you have anti-racism against Chinese people right now. And then you're calling Indian guys and Asian guys Pakis or terrorists. You know, they had a lot of that. After September 11th, if you're an Asian guy with brown skin, you would be called a terrorist, you would be called a Paki. But now Chinese people are getting in UK. You know, they've left the Asian guys alone. Now they're all picking on Chinese people. You know, my friends are Chinese, and I told you one of my Chinese friends got paralyzed because he got beaten up in the streets. You know, there's huge issues in UK, guys. There's huge issues. It's not far behind America. And America is another story. That's just next level. And I want to talk about that in a separate video. But I'm pretty much ashamed of people in UK, guys. And the state of UK. And just how stupid people are here. Not everyone, but I would say a majority. So that's all I wanted to say, guys. Look forward to your messages, and I'll speak to you guys soon.